Hey guys, with all the hype that's going on for BfA, don't forget that there are some things you should try to do before it hits. Some of these will be impossible or incredibly hard to accomplish after Legion, so make sure you get cracking if you want their rewards. 1. Broken Isles Fishing Reps. If you didn't know it yet, there are several special fishing NPCs known as Fisher Friends located around the Broken Isles that you can purchase cool rewards from. They operate similarly to how Net Pago worked in MOP and WOD. In total, there are 6 different Fisher Friends and Conjurer Magos. Only one of the 6 different Fisher Friends are active per day, with Magos being the exception as he will be present all the time. In order to gain reputation with them, you'll need to fish up special items at each Fisher Friend's location and turn it into them. Why should you do this before BfA hits? Well, how this works is that you have a chance to fish up an item that, when thrown back into the pool, will trigger an event that lasts for about 2 minutes. This event will enable you to then fish up the reputation granting items. The catch here is that any player that catches said items can trigger this event, and so with a big enough raid group, the event can be constantly refreshed, significantly shortening the amount of time needed to gain the rep required. In other words, it becomes incredibly difficult to the point of almost impossible to solo this event, as you would need to spend hundreds of hours just for each Fisher Friend. In contrast, with a sizable raid group, getting the maximum reputation with each Fisher Friend should only take you about 3 to 4 hours. Some of these rewards are really nice, from special fishing bobbers to toys and cosmetics, and even an underwater mount. If you're interested in finding a group, all you have to do is go to your group finder's custom tab and type in the keyword fishing. A list of groups should always appear, regardless of the time of day. If you're interested, there's a comprehensive guide for this on Wowhead, and I'll provide a link in the description below. 2. The Brawler's Guild. The Brawler's Guild has made its return during the 7.1.5 patch. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's basically a PvE arena where you battle against various bosses solo. For the Horde, it's located in Orgrimmar, and for the Alliance, the Deep Run Tram. However, in order to access it, you will first need certain items. One of these is the Blood-Soaked Invitation, an item that you can sometimes receive in Emissary Caches or that you might have encountered in your Class Hall missions. The other would be a Brawler's Pass, an item that is usually available on the auction house for a reasonable price. Once granted access, you can fight your way up the ranks to unlock more and more rewards. Rewards include a wide variety of shirts with exceptional designs, the ability to gain a Gnoll, Meatball as an additional Class Order Hall champion, and a Basilisk mount. Why should you do this before BfA hits? Well, for one, the Brawler's Guild has a tendency to close and be unavailable during the initial stages of every new expansion, so you might have to wait a year or more to be able to access it again. 2. It's very easy now to defeat the bosses, as the power creep with the gear available from just Antor's LFR would make it a cakewalk for most. Still, there are certain strategies that you will have to use to defeat the bosses. Nothing complicated though, and I'll provide a link to a complete guide in the description below. 3. Proving Grounds. It's been a while since we've seen the Proving Grounds had much use, as they are no longer required in order to queue for dungeons. However, in the same vein as the Brawler's Guild, it is now incredibly easy to do the Proving Grounds, especially so since I have a feeling that Blizzard did not implement them with artifact or legendary items in mind. If you haven't tried them out yet, they are basically solo scenarios where you face off against increasingly difficult waves of mobs. Each scenario differs based on the specialization that you can choose to attempt with, whether it be DPS, tank, or healing. There are several achievements tied to the Proving Grounds, with the most prominent ones being the titles that you can obtain. Upon completing Wave 30 of any of the different types of challenges, you will be rewarded with the appropriate titles. They are the Proven Assailant for DPS, the Proven Healer for healing, and the Proven Defender for tanks. These titles used to be really rare before Legion, and are still pretty rare due to most people having forgotten about the Proving Grounds. So make sure you complete them now, as I anticipate them being much harder in BfA, especially with the stat squish on the way. Number 4. The Chosen title. There exists an achievement known as the Chosen, whereby you have to defeat the bosses in the Trial of Valor on Mythic difficulty without dying. The rewards that you get will be the title The Chosen and a special Mythic Trial of Valor transmog set. Note that the not dying part is player specific, meaning that if your raid downs the boss but you die during the fight, you will not get the achievement, so make sure you survive at all costs. It is almost certain that Blizzard will remove this achievement once BfA hits, as it is very similar to the Tribute to Insanity achievement back in the Wrath of the Lich King that was also removed when Cataclysm hit. This might be a little difficult to purge or to get a group running, but the good news is that there's still many months to do so you can start planning ahead right now with your friends or guildmates. Number 5. Legion Raid Mounts. Where there be raids, there be mounts, and as Blizzard has clearly shown, previous raid content has always had the mount drop rate drastically reduced when the next expansion hits, so the best time to get the Legion raid mounts would be right now. The most well known of course would be the Antorus Dog mounts. These have a chance to drop regardless of the raid difficulty, so make sure you knock out that LFR once a week, and attempt normal or heroic if you can. Next up will be the Abyss Worm mount, a really cool looking serpent that drops from Mistress Sazin in the Tomb of Sargeras. Similarly, this mount drops from all raid modes, including LFR, so make sure to queue for it once a week too. We also have an awesome Hellfire Inferno, a mount that drops off Gul'dan on Mythic difficulty in the Nighthold raid. It would be pretty difficult to get a raid for Gul'dan on Mythic difficulty, but it'll be well worth the effort as the mount currently has a 100% drop chance from him. It is one of the rare instances of Infernos being red in colour, so it'll be sure to turn heads as you stroll through BfA with it. Next up, we have none other than the Violet Spellwing, now known as the Friendship Bird, that drops off Heroic Argus. Heroic Argus might seem a step up for most of us, especially if you don't raid regularly, but never fear, as there exists an awesome group of people that are helping others obtain the Spellwing. In the past, they ran the Friendship Moose runs to obtain the Moose mount from Archimon, and so are now running Friendship Bird runs for Argus. I'll provide a link to their post in the description below. Lastly, there is a mount that drops from Mythic Argus, and it's known as the Shackled Urzul. If you're already a heroic raider, you might want to consider heading into Mythic for this very reason. The mount looks absolutely astounding, and looks very much like an old school Final Fantasy boss. You'll have to work really hard to get this one, but considering how rare it's going to be, you'll likely be one of a handful of people that will ever have it for years. Number 6. Broken Isles Invasions for Alts. Currently, one of the best ways to level up your level 100 alts is through the Broken Isles Invasion events. With a set of heirlooms and flying, it is very easy to gain up to 1.5 levels with just 15 to 20 minutes of work. I have personally leveled many 100 alts this way all the way to 110 without needing to equip any new gear or do a single quest. Your character will feel slightly weaker overall because of the lack of gear, but that won't be an issue, as you can easily party up to take down the mobs or complete the objectives. The downside, of course, is that these invasions appear on a set timer, appearing for only a 6-hour duration and spawning roughly 18 hours apart. There is a really useful spreadsheet that has been compiled. I'll leave a link in the description that tells you approximately when each invasion is going to happen. Post-Legion, these invasions are going to be very difficult to do, as many are not soloable for most classes and would be almost impossible to regularly party up for once BfA hits. So if you have a ton of 100 alts from WOD just lying around, chuck them into an invasion whenever it's up. It hardly takes up any time and you can hop back on your main when it's done. Number 7. Mythic +15 Dungeons. Finally, we come to the most well-known tool. There currently exists an achievement for completing a Mythic +15 dungeon on time that enables you to unlock an artifact appearance for your characters. This achievement has been confirmed to be removed in BfA, so that artifact appearance will be 100% unobtainable post-Legion. Don't be too concerned about this though, as there's still lots of time before BfA, so take your time to slowly gear up through the weekly Mythic Dungeon chests that you can obtain from completing any level of Mythic Dungeon and from the loot in LFR, and I'm sure you'll be able to gear up enough to attempt it in the coming months. Number 8. The Mage Tower. The same goes for the almighty Mage Tower. For new or returning players, if you haven't heard of this yet, It's basically a solo PvE boss fight based on your class's spec, with every spec having a different form of challenge. I know some of you have had a very frustrating experience with this. Don't be too upset, as with better gear, the challenges are only going to get easier. While the Mage Tower challenges have also been confirmed to be removed in BfA, take your time with this, as you have until September to do it. Continually upgrade your gear, ask around on the forums if you're stuck, or come back for another attempt on another day if you feel frustrated about it. Often clearing your mind would help in formulating a new strategy that you've never thought of before. But make sure you plan ahead to complete it. These Mage Tower artifact appearances look pretty spectacular, so you don't want to regret missing out on them. And that's a wrap. I hope this video was able to help you get a better idea of what to do before BfA hits. If you have any further questions as to how to do these, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll be sure to get back to you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Azeroth.